Good afternoon, everyone. So, I don't know if many of you know much about nut roasts, but it's actually quite popular here in London. And it's essentially a meatloaf made with really yummy and delicious nuts and vegetables. And for this one, I topped it off with an amazing hoisin sauce and flavored it with a little bit of 5-spice right in the mix. So, it's kind of warming, it's a little bit sweet, it's savory, and it's just super, super delicious. So I started this filling off by sauteing 1 cup of celery and also 1 onion that I chopped up. And this is over about medium heat, and you want to do it for right around 5 minutes until the onions and the celery soften. Next, 1 cup of a mushroom of your choice go in, and you're just going to saute it for another 1 to 2 minutes up until the mushrooms soften. I'm adding in a half a teaspoon of 5-spice, and that is really what's going to make this filling nice and warm and holiday-esque. And then 3 tablespoons of garbanzo bean flour. And this is going to function very much as my thickener. So after I cook off the bean flavor just a little bit, I'm going to add in about a half a cup of mushroom stock. And just to make sure that all of the vegetables and mushrooms get cooked and soften up before I add it to the rest of the filling. Now for the rest of that filling, I am using 1 cup of a nut cheese that I bought from a local restaurant, and a good vegan cheese goes a very long way. So a cup of that, and just crumble that up nice and easy. And then actually a bunch of other ingredients go in. Recipe is down below, but you can put in some nuts of your choice. I have some ground cashews and some ground pistachios here, along with some ground toasted sesame seeds, which is going to add a nice kind of Asian feel to this. Now, this is my binding mix. So I have a little bit of buckwheat along with some brown rice, and the buckwheat adds just a nice toasted kind of nuttiness to this that is absolutely amazing, along with some herbs like parsley and scallions. Finally, 1 tablespoon of the Gluten-Free double deluxe soy sauce, or if you want to use the gluten-free version, go into this. And really, depending on how salty your cheese is, you might have to adjust it with a little bit of salt. It just looks like mashed potatoes right now, but that combination of cheese and the rest of those ingredients is really magical. So my only tip for this is to pack this in really well, because obviously a nut loaf, it does have a tendency to be very crumbly. So make sure to pack that down nice and good. And then before we put it into the oven, I have 1 tablespoon of the Gluten-Free hoisin sauce. Now, if you're doing a gluten-free version, just substitute it for a barbecue sauce, and then in go around 2 to 3 teaspoons of a Gluten-Free soy sauce of your choice, as well as about 1 teaspoon of the Gluten-Free sesame oil. And that combination is really, really nice as a glaze. So mix all of that together and then just gently brush the top of the nut loaf with a thin layer of this. So whatever glaze you have left over, save it until the end and glaze the loaf one more time before you serve it. And because the glaze does have a little bit of sugar in it, you want to kind of cover it with parchment paper so that it does not burn in the oven as you bake it. And this goes into a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes covered, and then you want to open up that covering and then bake it for an additional 20 minutes just to get a little bit of color on the top. So I'm just decorating it with a little bit of the spices that's already in the filling, as well as some peppers for color, but you can use whatever you have and just slice it up into slices, and it functions, again, very much like meatloaf. You can pair it with a little bit more of that hoisin sauce or maybe some mushroom gravy. It is absolutely, absolutely delicious. As usual, kitty cats, I hope you all enjoyed that recipe, and maybe this is something that you guys might want to try for the holidays. As usual, if you want to see more recipes like this, remember to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you all again next time. Bye!